So when I first came back to upstate New York, I was living in Brooklyn before that. I was living on Jamaica and Hendricks in East New York. So when I came from Brooklyn back to upstate, I had been staying with my sister in Schenectady. My sister had a boyfriend and they went through some shit. I guess trying to slap my sister, and I didn't even get a chance to do anything. My sister beat him with a can of paint, and dude went running out the house, whatever. There was a whole situation. So I guess dude Peoples was blood. So they came by the house, so they pulled up to the house. I'm sitting on the porch, and they like, yo, they're like, you know where? And then they said my sister's name. So I'm like, yeah, what's up? So they like, oh, we looking for on some like some real tough shit, right? So all I had was a little fucking 22 at the time, right? So I had took the little 22 out. So I was like, what's up? And they like, oh, nah, homie, boom, boom, boom. And they just pulled off. So I'm like, all right, well, these motherfuckers want some problem. Now, before I get some stupid ass social media lawyer in here, the statute of limitations in New York is 5 years. The only thing that they can charge you with a crime when it's older than 5 years, and this situation happened in like 2008 or some shit like that. The only way they can charge you with a crime older than that is if that crime holds a life sentence, which is like murder or like any crimes like that. Any crimes a whole life sentence. Anything else than that, you can talk about whatever crime you want. They cannot charge you with it. Now back to what I was saying. So we found a way to acquire some more guns because at the time there was a lot of bloods in Schenectady, and I felt like if it was going to be a problem, then it was going to be a problem. So we found a way to acquire guns, a lot of guns. I had like I think 7 guns at the time: a German Mauser, an M1 Garand, 30-06 sniper rifle, SKS, M1 carbine, a whole bunch of big ass guns, right? So now, when the Bloods had come back around the block, whatever, this was like a day or two later, I'm on the porch with the AK. So they don't even stop. Like, they just keep driving. So I'm like, all right, maybe they let it go because we finna see what happened. So then there was this little Mexican girl on the block, right? So they she was probably like 14 or some shit like that. Mind you, I'm damn near 30 years old at the time. So my co-defendant, he probably like 27, 28. He probably like 2 or 3 years younger than me, right? So the Mexican girl's like strung out on PCP. They were selling PCP in my neighborhood. So I had went and told the Puerto Rican dudes around the corner, I said, listen, I said, you can't sell that shit in my neighborhood. Like, you can't bring that shit around here. Oh, you're not even from, I don't give a fuck. Like, you can't bring that shit around nowhere where I live at. Why do I see a little girl out here on that shit, right? So we brought the little girl over to the porch and made her call her mother so that her mother could come get her because she was young. She'd be like 14 or 15. So there was some motherfuckers across the street, and they was cleaners. I'm not gonna say the dude's name because the dude is dead now. Not by anything that I had anything to do with, but a whole nother situation. And they're across the street talking shit. So they're like, oh, they about to run a train on that girl. Boom, boom, boom. Like, cracking jokes. So I didn't say nothing, right? So the girl's mother came, and the girl got, and they got the little girl and shit, and the little girl got up out of there. So we went over there and pressed the motherfuckers, went to their house with the big ass machine guns. I had the SKS at the time, big ass 7.62 bullets. And I went over there and pressed his mom, like, yo, where your son at? Tell your son come outside. He was over here talking all that crazy shit and making assumptions about some shit he don't know nothing about. Motherfuckers jumping in bushes, seeing this motherfucker jump out the back window in the house, like it was going down. So now we got beef with these motherfuckers. So that night, I'm in the window with the sniper rifle with the 30-06, and I'm trying to get a shot on one of these motherfuckers outside, right? So I shot at him twice, but I ain't hit nobody. So I wasn't as good with the sniper rifle as I thought I was, so I didn't hit nobody. So for the next like maybe a week, we got beef with Date Gang, and we got beef with the Bloods. So we probably shot at motherfuckers like 15 times in the next like 6 days. Now, 15 times is a lot of shootings in 6 days. They ain't shoot at us but one time. And it was just me and my co-defendant, and there was a Crip homie down the block that we fuck with, and that was it. Like, we were shooting at these motherfuckers every fucking day. It got so bad that they put a police car at the end of our street, like parked the shit on our street so that we couldn't do nothing. Mind you, the Spanish dudes that we beefing with got federal drug investigation against them. They was the ones moving kilos for the other people. So the Spanish dudes had come around. They was like, yo, listen, we don't want no problems. Like, we not gonna sell that shit right here. Like, we over there on the other block. Like, I feel you. Like, we not gonna do none of that. So me and the Spanish dudes is cool now. Like, we don't got no problem with the Spanish dudes. And there are a couple black dudes that work with them too. But we had got cool with them. And it was like, yeah, we ain't gonna sell that. I'm like, listen, I don't care what you do, but you're not finna be selling PCP to kids, bro. Like, this little girl, like 14 years old. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? So that shit got deaded. But we still beefing with the two other gangs. So one of the blood dudes had like a Uzi or some shit. So he had come over there beefing one day. So I went out the back door with the M1 carbine, and I was gonna light this motherfucker up coming around the back of the house. So I went out my back door, he in the front of the house, and my other homeboy stopped me like, yo, chill, chill, chill. This is when Alex was alive. Alex was like, yo, chill. Like, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, he just showing off. Like, you gonna kill this dude, and what? Like, you gonna go to prison for the rest of your life. And he ended up stopping me, and I probably would have, because it was the middle of the afternoon. There was mad people outside. Like, I would have shot him. And he was just trying to show off. He was looking for attention. Like, bro, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You out here trying to be loud and make a fucking scene. Like, you could have did this shit when it was dark later tonight. I would have clipped your ass. So he ended up saving me from that shit. Then all of a sudden, somebody dropped a slip that we had guns. Somebody dropped some shit to the police and told the police that we had guns in this crib, right? So to this day, I don't know who did it, but it was definitely one of them, right? So I had the M1 Garand, right? Now, the M1 Garand is a weird gun because it's supposed to take 30-06 bullets, right? But there's another version that takes the 7.62 bullet, which is the NATO round, right? Or 7.66, something like that. But it was a NATO round, right? So I went to put the 30-06 bullet in the M1 Garand and it got stuck. It was the wrong size. So I had to go to the gun shop so that I could have the gun shop take the bullet out. Mind you, I'm a felon, but they don't know this shit. So someone calls and says that I have a gun, that I'm at the gun, going to the gun shop with a gun. To this day, I don't know who the fuck snitched, but like, I was trying to take it out like in my house, and then I had went outside, so anybody could have seen me bring it to the trunk of the car, etc. Anybody could have seen that shit, but somebody called the police. So the police pulled me and my co-defendant over at the gun shop when we was going to the gun shop, and I think the gun shop was like, said something about us too. So we end up getting pulled over with the one gun. I don't care. It's not automatic. It's a misdemeanor in New York. If you're a felon and you get called a firearm in New York, as long as it's not a pistol, if it's a rifle or a shotgun, it's only a misdemeanor. So I don't care. A fucking co-defendant goes and tells them that, yeah, it's my gun and I got more guns in the house, in my sister's house, right? So they go and they raid my sister's house. I got to take the gun charges. Look, I still don't care. I don't have no pistols in there. It's all rifles and shotguns. So I already know it's just a bunch of misdemeanors. I don't care. But this bitch ass motherfucker testified. I guess he got a warrant or other cases he trying to get out of. So I end up getting over the case and getting let go because it's only misdemeanors. Somebody called the feds, literally placed a call to the feds and had the feds pick my case up. Now, I don't know to this day who the fuck called the feds and set that fucking case up to get me fucking arrested. But somebody actually called the feds. So the ATF, now mind you, I went home, got me a new girlfriend at the time, my co-defendant baby mom's. Yes, I did that. And they come to her house to get me. My co-defendant's disappeared. I have no idea where this snitch motherfucker is, right? So I end up getting arrested at her house. They come and get me from her house. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I've been going to court. Like, I ain't missed no court date. What's up? They're like, oh, ATF. Behind me in her house, I had a rifle in the house. I had a 22 long rifle, right, in the house, but it was in like a suit bag. So to this day, they never found that shit. So I don't know what the fuck. I ain't talked to this girl in forever. So the shit's way in the back of the house, and I'm like, all right, I go with them because I want them to come in the house and see the gun that's there in the back corner. So I end up having to go to the feds behind the gun charges, all because somebody called the police And then somebody did even better and called the feds. And to this day, I don't even know who it was. And I already had the robbery charges and the burglary charges and everything from before that I already did all that fucking time in prison for. So now I'm going back to the feds to do 30 months in the fucking feds for some bullshit. All those motherfucking guns that were only misdemeanors because it's more than, I don't remember the exact number, it might have been 4 or 5. I had 7, but it might have been 4 or 5 that makes it a federal case. So the feds end up picking the case up. Motherfuckers out here is not as gangster as they act. Like, you start shooting at motherfuckers and really start doing some gangster shit, they start running and calling the police. And that was a while ago. That was well over a decade ago. It's only getting worse.